Tax sale overages. What are they, and what's that weird word overages all about? This is attorney Bob Diamond, and today I'm going to teach you what tax sale overages are, how they work, and how you might potentially make this into a great business opportunity for yourself. So first, what are tax sales and what are tax sale overages? So a tax sale is when your property is sold because you didn't pay your real estate taxes. In most states, if the taxes are let go between 3 and 4 years going unpaid, then the tax collector is going to sell your property at a public auction. And it's just sold to the highest bidder. And the interesting thing about these is that usually the properties sell for far more than the taxes that are due. And because of that, there's extra money left over. And I'm going to give you a concrete example in a moment, but the overages refers to the extra money that's left over when a property is sold at a foreclosure tax sale, but it sells for more than the taxes. So let me give you a specific example. So average house in America is worth around $400,000. So if you look at the taxes on that house, it's going to be about 2% of the home value per year. So about $8,000 per year in taxes that are due. If they get behind 4 years, they will sell that house at a public auction. So let's give 4 years worth of past due taxes, $32,000 worth of taxes. And then of course there are penalties and interest. Those can be pretty high with taxes. So let's just double it and say that the person owes $64,000 in taxes. It's a big bill, right? You can see how someone might not be able to come up with all that money to stop the sale. So the tax collector sells the property at a public auction, and that property is going to sell for some good money because there are active bidders at those auctions. Typically, they're going to sell for 75 to 80% of the after repaired value of that house minus fix up. So just in simple terms, let's say it sells for 75% of the value, so it sells for $300,000 for that $400,000 house. Be a good deal, right? You can see why bidders would jump at that, because wouldn't you like to buy a $400,000 house for $100 grand off? Sure you would. And so would lots of bidders at those sales. So think about the math though. At the auction, they just collected $300,000 from the sale of that property, yet they only need $64,000 to pay the taxes. So approximately $240,000 is left over. That is the money we're talking about that's overages. It's just the mathematical difference between what they collected at the foreclosure auction versus the taxes that are due. And of course, that includes penalties and interest. So in this example, about $240,000 left over. Now the question is, what happens to that money? Where does it go? So what happens is it sits with the government waiting for the former owner to apply for the money. They don't just send out a check. You know, they don't like call out the local sheriff and say, hey, could you take a ride over to Fred's house and hand him this check for $240,000 because we had some extra left over from his foreclosure sale. They never do that. And you know the reason they never do that? The reason they don't do it is because they keep any money that's left over. So, you know, there's sort of an incentive for the government not to say anything. So what happens is the money just sits there for a predetermined amount of time, typically 3 years, although it varies by state. The shortest state is 6 months, that's Alaska. The longest state is forever, that's Delaware. And they're all kind of somewhere in between. I would say that a representative number, or like a typical number, is around 3 years that money is going to sit there waiting to be claimed. If the former owner doesn't claim it within that 3-year time period though, money's gone. It's forfeited to the state and gone forever. So of course, they have no motivation to tell anybody about it. So what happens is that millions of dollars are created literally every day at these auctions just sitting there. And the former owners typically have no idea there's any money there. I mean, why would they? They think, well, you know, they sold my house because I couldn't afford to pay the taxes. And so they think, well, they must keep the money, right? That's logical. It just happens to be incorrect. As a lawyer, I can tell you, sometimes the law is a little different than what you think it would be. So what the law says is that that extra money has to be claimable by the former owner through some process. So each state is a different process, but generally speaking, you're going to apply for the money. Pretty easy to do. They don't make it overly difficult to do. You're going to apply for the money. They're going to process the claim and cut a check. They're not difficult about cutting checks. They do cut checks. We handle lots of these cases, and it's not, they don't give us a hard time. They're not trying to avoid paying, but you do have to cross all your T's, dot all your I's, turn in all the necessary paperwork, and follow up on it. and then you can get paid. Now, you might have noticed that earlier I said I made this into a great business, and you might be able to too. How does that work? Well, the way that it works is that these people don't have any idea there's any money that they could claim, and since the government's not going to chase them down, what we do is we get lists of those monies that are available to claim. We get lists of the people that are owed the money, and then we reach out to the people, typically just give them a call and say, hey, Fred, there's $250,000 you could claim. If you're interested, we're happy to help you out with that. We provide a service of doing that for a percentage of what we recover if we recover anything. People love us because we get the money that they had no idea existed, no idea they could ever get, and it's a total fresh start in life for them. It's a lift when they really need it. So just to give you an example, there's a woman named Carrie Johnson that we helped up in Connecticut. And when we found Carrie, she had fallen on extremely hard times. She had lost her job, she had gotten disabled, and she wasn't able to work. And she lost her family home that had been in the family for 100 years. Heartbreaking for her, just devastated her. And we found her, and there was some money left over. And we said, hey, would you like some help getting these? She said, absolutely. She was completely intimidated by the government, as you can imagine she would be. So we applied and got the money, got her $32,000, and we literally got her out of the homeless shelter that she was living in, back into housing, back into normal life again. Today she's living in a nice townhouse. She has a car. We helped her get her pension back online, helped her get Social Security, helped her to get some disability payments, and she's back in life again and literally not living in the streets. And frankly, between you and me, I don't think she'd be alive today without us, because she would have been out on the streets as a homeless person in Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. It gets cold during the winter. I don't think she would have made it. So this is a business where you can really make a difference for people, and you can make great money. You're just helping people so materially, and just for a percentage. If you're successful, you get paid. If you're not, you don't. And this is a really interesting business because you can run it at kind of whatever level you want. I have people that really are going gangbusters. They want to build a business like we've built. We process millions of dollars of claims a year. So, they'll really tackle this. They'll call lots of people, they'll sign them up, they'll get the money, they make great money doing it, they give great help to people. We have other folks that want sort of a side business. Maybe they're retired, or maybe they're just stepping out into entrepreneurship. They're thinking, I need some side business that can supplement my income. This is the kind of thing where you can do a couple deals a year, make some really good side money, and not have to overwork. And plus, it's rewarding. It's rewarding to help people. So if this sounds interesting to you, here's the next step. I did a video where I really go in depth on the overages business called Intro to the Overages Business. I'll put a link up here. You should see it above my shoulder here. If you don't see it for any reason, then it'll be down below in the description. Some browsers don't support the videos showing up there. But anyway, join me there. I just spend a couple minutes and I really dig into the details. And if you're interested in the business, I'm happy to teach it to you. So go check out the intro video, and if you want to go further, I'll be happy to teach you this business. It's a great business. It's a rewarding business. You help people. You can make a great living for yourself and your family. And personally, I think that's absolutely the best thing. If you're helping people and making a great living, what more could you ask for in a business? So this is Attorney Bob Diamond. Hope this helped your understanding of what an overage is, and I will see you over at the Intro to the Overages Business video. See you there.